Hello everyone. In today's video, I would like to explain to you about the concept of summing an arithmetic series. Now, the difference between a series and a sequence is that a series is a sequence in which we are adding the consecutive terms, such as this over here. We've got 1 plus 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus 13 plus 16 plus 19. Now, it's a fairly straightforward example, and we could take the calculator and literally just work it out. Okay, 1 plus, let's see now, 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus 13 plus 16 plus 19. The answer that we get is 70. All right, so I want to show you the mathematics behind this and how we can get that answer of 70 by using a formula and then extending this to make it a little bit more difficult. Right, so a formula that you should be familiar with is the general term formula. This is a formula which I've shown you in previous videos. This is to work out a particular term in a sequence. But there is another formula that you need to know which goes a little bit like this. Sn equals n divided by 2 times by, in brackets, 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, so this formula over here is the sum of the first n terms of an arithmetic series. All right, now how does this work? For example, if I ask you what is S1, S1 is going to be the sum of the first 1 terms, which is literally just the first term, 1. Okay? If I ask you what is S2, that is going to equal the sum of the first 2 terms. Okay, so that is going to be 1 plus 4. Okay, that's going to be 1 plus 4, so that's going to equal 5. If I ask you to work out S5, that is going to equal the sum of the first 5 terms, okay? So that would be the first 5 numbers added together. In that case, that would be, let's see now, 13 plus 10 is 23, plus 7 is 30, 34, 35. So that sum would equal 35. All right. In general, this formula over here allows us to work out the sum of any number of terms in the sequence. Now remember, A represents the first number, so that's going to be 1. Okay, D represents the difference. Now the difference here is 3, okay, because you are adding 3 every single time. And the N is going to represent how many terms we would like to add together. All right, so for instance, let's work out S5 using this formula. So S5, if I want to change this to S5, I'm going to make that N become a 5, make this N become a 5. The A value is 1, okay, so I'm going to replace that with 1. This N is 5 because it's 5 terms, and the D here is your difference, which is 3. Now, you can just go ahead and type this on your calculator and get an answer, but it's always more exciting to try to do this without a calculator. Okay, so over here we got 5 over 2, and then in the brackets we have over here 2 times 1, so that's 2. And then there's a plus, okay, and then here we have 5 minus 1, which is 4, and that 4 is being times by 3. Okay, so here I'm going to write 4 times 3. Then the next thing is to work out 4 times 3 is 12. Then 12 plus 2 is 14. Okay, and now we could say, for example, 14 divided by 2 is 7. Okay, and then 7 times 5. This is definitely going to equal 35. So you can see this calculation is giving you the same answer as if we just had to work out the first 5 numbers added together. So it really is a nice little calculation. And let's see if this was maybe a 4. Okay, if we were working out S4, then this is going to become 4s all around. And if you type this on your calculator, you're going to see that the answer for that is actually 22. Okay, and if you go ahead and you work out the first four numbers added together, it does actually equal 22. So a really, really useful little formula for summing up the first n terms of an arithmetic series. All right. Now, we could also have a situation where we would like to work backwards. For instance, what if the question said something like this? The first n terms have a sum of 35. And then the question is calculate n. Oh, okay, so in that case, what are we going to do? We're going to first write out the formula. N over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. And that is your sum, okay? That is going to have to equal 35. Right? Now the a value there, as we have seen, is 1, so I'm going to replace that with 1, and the d value, as we know, is 3. Okay, so in a situation like this, what I would do is I would simplify a few things. Okay, for example, 2 times 1 is 2. Then over here, we can distribute the 3. So this is 3 times n, 3 times minus 1. 3n minus 3. 3n minus 3. Okay, then we don't need this other set of brackets there. We can then say it is n over 2, and then in that bracket we have over here 3n minus 1. 3n minus 1. Now your next move is going to be to remove this 2 over here. So what we need to do is times 35 times 2. That is 70. Okay, so then we have just n, not n over 2 anymore, just n, times 3n minus 1 is now equals to 70. 3n squared minus n minus 70 equals 0. Okay, so what we have there, we have a quadratic equation. Okay, so we must remember, get it equal to 0, and then we can either factorize or we can use the formula to be able to solve it. Okay, so solving this is just a matter of now possibly just using your formula. Okay, we're not going to say x equals, we're going to say n equals, and then we can use the formula negative b plus minus the square root. Let's see how this works out. The square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now the a value here is 3, so where there's an a, I'm going to replace with 3, like there and there. Remember to use brackets, guys. Over here, the b value is actually negative 1. So everywhere where there's a b, now just be careful, there's already a minus here. You put that in brackets. And then here's a b, put it in brackets, very, very important. And then c is negative 70. So in the place of this one c over here, I'm putting negative 70. All right, so now we can continue to work this out. Of course, you can use your calculator, but I'm always a person to try not to use my calculator too much. Right, so here we have minus minus 1, so that's 1, and then plus minus. At the bottom here, we have 2 times 3, so that's, of course, 6. Then let's put in that square root. Here we have minus 1 times minus 1, so that's 1. And here we have negative 4 times 3 times negative 70. That might need a little bit of working out, so I'm going to go and work out just 4 times 3 times 70. That's 840. Okay, so you've got 1 and then plus 840 divided by 6. Now, 840 plus 1 is 841, but can we square root 841? Okay, let me try that one again. So it's 841 square root, and the answer there is 29. Okay, so this part here is going to equal 29. So what does this tell us? It tells us n is going to equal either 1 minus 29 divided by 6, or n is going to equal 1 plus 29 divided by 6. Now you must remember n is a natural number. Okay. Now, this answer will not give us a natural number, so I'm going to say that n cannot equal that, okay? But we can continue here. Now, 1 plus 29 is 30, and then 30 divided by 6 is 5. So that is telling us what? It's telling us that the first 5 terms have a sum of 35. Okay, which makes sense because when we add the first 5 numbers, you can check it for yourself. Do we get 35 or not? Okay, let's take a look. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 7 is 12, plus 10 is 22, plus 13. Yes, indeed, it does equal 35. All right, guys, so when it comes to summing an arithmetic series, this is your formula you are going to use. Remember, A is your first term, D is your difference, N is the number of terms you would like to sum, and it always goes from the beginning up to however many terms you would like to add together. Remember, n, if you are going to be working backwards, like here, the first n terms have a sum of 35, then your formula equals 35. And there's a way to then solve it. It usually gets down to a step where there's a quadratic. And remember to disregard any values that are not natural numbers so that you can get your solution, okay? Right, guys, so I hope that this video was useful to explain to you what the sum of an arithmetic series is. Hopefully you're understanding it a little bit better now, and I wish you well in your maths. Until next time, please remember to like and subscribe, and take care.